Hey everyone, Amanda Balionis here. Happy 4th of July weekend. I'm in Detroit for the Rocket Mortgage Classic, but we're going to continue our beginner yoga series. So if you are just joining us for the first time, I encourage you to go check out this series from the beginning because we've been building every single week into a safe and strong foundation for this yoga practice. But if you are all caught up, we're going to start today in a seated position. So crisscross applesauce, if that feels good to you, with a long straight back. If that does not feel good for you, you can also sit on your heels with your butt on your heels with your legs together. Or if that does not feel good either, just lean your back against a wall and sit with your legs straight. Just find a comfortable position here. Close your eyes and start to breathe. Deep inhales and exhales. Inhales and exhales. Now on your next inhale, start to slowly roll your neck either clockwise or counterclockwise. And really just pay attention to where your neck starts to feel that tension, right? For me, it's usually on my left side, and maybe you pay a little extra attention to that area, focusing your breath into there. Maybe you slow down and hold your position in that area. But just start to pay attention to your body and what it's trying to tell you. Inhales and exhales. If there's something else on your mind other than where your neck is feeling tense, let that go on your next exhale. And 2 more rolls to whichever direction you chose on your own. Then when you get to the bottom of that second roll, start to roll your neck in the opposite direction. So if you're going clockwise, go counterclockwise, or vice versa. Deep inhales, exhales, let it go. Feel how different it is to go in the opposite direction. Maybe there's a different spot on your neck now that you can feel. And now you pay attention to that. With no judgment, just paying attention and breathing into it. 2 more rolls to this side now, to your own breath. And when you get to the bottom of the second neck roll, bring your hands to either side of your hips. And then we're going to do a side body stretch. So plant your right hand next to your hip, or maybe out a little bit more, tenting your fingers, almost like you're holding a cupcake underneath. If you want to get a little bit of a deeper stretch here, but reach that left arm over to the right side. Let this feel good. Maybe you bend your right arm that's grounded a little bit more so you can get into that left side body stretch, taking your gaze up maybe to your top hand or down to the ground on the right side. 1 more deep inhale, exhale, come back to center. On your next inhale, plant your left hand, again, either right next to your hip or out a little bit, tenting your fingers, and then reach your right arm over to the left side of the room. Deep inhales and exhales. And then when you are ready, come back to center. Come into a tabletop position now. 1 deep inhale here, so your shoulders are stacked over your wrists and your hips are stacked over your knees. And when you're ready, push back into your downward facing dog. So downward facing dog, your hands are shoulder width distance apart. Your feet are hip width distance apart or wider if that feels good. If you have tight hamstrings, bend your knees here as much as you need to make this feel comfortable. Good. Let your gaze drop in between your legs. Deep inhale and exhale. 1 more deep inhale here. Maybe you start to pedal your feet out and feel that stretch into your calves. That usually feels really good for me. And exhale at the bottom of your next exhale. Look to the front of your mat. Place your left hand behind your left wrist, your right hand behind your right wrist. Come into a forward fold, grab opposite elbows, and come into Ragdoll. So Ragdoll, your gaze is again in between your legs. There's no tension in your neck. And you maybe want to sway side to side. If you have tight shoulders, clasp your hands behind your back and then fold them over your head. Do whatever you need to do here to make this feel good. Again, observing what your body needs, no judgment, just breathing into it. One more deep inhale here. Exhale, let it go. Release your arms wherever you have them bound. And then slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time into mountain pose, Tadasana. Tadasana, your gaze is in between your hands. You're grounding down into the four corners of your feet. That's going to be a big principle throughout our entire practice. And you want to lift the front of your pelvis as your tailbone descends so that you don't have a curve in the bottom of your back. We want to protect our spine and our lower back. One more deep inhale here, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift to a flat back, bending your knees as much as you need to create that flat tabletop position, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift to a flat back one more time, and when you're ready, plant your hands and step back into a high plank. High plank, your shoulders are stacked over your wrists, your heels are stacked over your toes. If this is too much for you, drop your knees. Your gaze is directly below you. One more deep inhale here in your high plank, and then exhale, squeeze your triceps into your sides as you come to a hover over your mat. Again, if your knees are down, that is totally fine. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. So baby cobra, you're gonna come all the way down to your belly and then push up with bent elbows with your wrists right underneath your shoulders, but the rest of your body's on the ground. If that feels good for you, do that. If you want more, move your hands to your bottom of your rib cage and then straighten your arms and lift your entire body up off the mat, pressing into the tops of your feet. Those are your two options. Wherever you are right here though, exhale into downward facing dog. We'll do that one more time so we can get used to that sun A. Look to the front of your mat. You can either step or hop there. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up into Tadasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift to your flat back. Plant your hands and step back into high plank. Exhale to low. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. One deep inhale here, and exhale, let it go. On your next inhale, look to the front of your mat, step or hop there with your feet together, bend deeply and rise up into chair pose, Utkatasana. So chair pose, you still want to keep the front of your pelvis tilted as your tailbone descends, okay? So you still want to create that long, straight spine here to protect your back. You don't want that curvature in your back, so you want to make sure that your booty is not sticking out. You want it to be tucked underneath you. And you want your knees to be in line with one another as well. Take a look down, and if you can see your toes, bend even a little bit deeper into your knees. You should start to feel your lower body activate. It's all about perspective. You can think about how much you don't want to be here, or you can acknowledge your body for how strong it is. But wherever you are, one more deep inhale, exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift to a flat back. Exhale, plant your hands and step back into your high plank. Inhale. Exhale to low. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up high into the sky with your foot flexed, like you're gonna stamp the back wall or maybe the back ceiling, depending on how high you wanna lift up that right leg. Now bend your knee and then start to press it towards the opposite side. Start pressing it towards the left side of the room. Good, feel another good side body stretch, how different it feels from that first side body stretch we did at the beginning of class. But when you're ready, straighten that leg back out, and then as quietly as possible, place it in between your hands and rise up into Crescent Lunge. So your right knee is stacked over your front ankle. Your left leg is either strong and straight, or you bring that left knee down to your mat. But wherever you are, your arms are strong and straight on either side of your head. Your gaze is at a point that's not moving right in front of you. Deep inhale here, exhale. One more deep inhale here, and when you're ready, bring your hands to heart center and then twist to your right. Take your left elbow to the outside of your right leg. One more deep inhale here. Take it to its fullest expression. You can open your arms, do what you need to do to get that twist, twisting back and detoxifying whatever you need to let go. And then exhale, plant your hands, step back, and go through your flow. Inhale, high plank. Exhale to low. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your left leg up high into the sky. Foot is flexed. And then when you're ready, bend your knee and press it to the opposite side of the room. Getting that side body stretch now on your left side. Keeping your shoulders square to your mat as much as you can. And then on your next inhale, straighten that leg and as quietly as possible, place it in between your hands. Rise up into your crescent lunge. Left knee stacked over your ankle. Your back right knee is either on the mat or it's strong and straight. Maybe you try to stack that right back heel over your toes. Inhale, one big breath here in your crescent lunge. Exhale, let it go. One more deep inhale here. And on your next exhale, bring your hands to heart center and twist to your left. So your right elbow goes to the outside of your left thigh. Your gaze is either up towards the sky or it's down towards your mat. But wherever you are, lengthen as much as you can here on your next inhale. And when you exhale, twist to your fullest expression and extension. And then when you're ready to release, place your hands on either side of your foot. Inhale, step back into your high plank and go through your flow. That could mean that you just meet us in downward facing dog. That could mean that you take a break in child's pose. But wherever you are, always end on an exhale. And then we're going to meet right now in downward facing dog. Good. On your next inhale, lift your right leg up high into the sky once again. And as quietly as possible, bring it in between your hands and rise up into your crescent lunge. Inhale and exhale. One more inhale, and on your next exhale, come into warrior two. So your hips are square to the left side of the wall, your arms are strong and straight, reaching in opposite directions, and your gaze is over that front right middle finger. Your left back foot is also square to that wall alongside your hips, but your right foot is still facing 12 o'clock, and your front knee is bent over your ankle, stacked over your ankle. One more deep inhale here. Feel strong, feel activated, feel connected with yourself. And when you're ready, cartwheel your hands down onto either side of your foot, step back and go through your flow. Inhale, high plank. Exhale to low. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg up high into the sky when you're ready. And as quietly as possible, place it in between your hands as you rise up once again into your crescent lunge. So if you've maybe been leaving your knee on your mat, your back knee on your mat this time, maybe you challenge yourself to go even further and straighten that back leg. Or maybe you are really pushing yourself and you need a break. Try on placing that back leg onto your mat. Wherever you are, though, one more deep inhale. And then on your next exhale, twist out into warrior two on your left. So your hips are now squaring to the right side of the room. Your back right foot also squares to that side. But your front left leg is, your foot's facing 12 o'clock and your front knee is stacked over your ankle. Reach strong and straight in opposite directions. Maybe you check in with your back arm to make sure it's at the same height as your front. Sometimes it can get a little loose. Your gaze is over that front middle finger. Deep inhale here. And then exhale, cartwheel your hands onto either side of your foot. Step back and go through your flow. Inhale, high plank. Exhale to low. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Press back into child's pose. Bring your knees to the outer edges of your mat. Your hips sink back towards your heels. Your head rests on your mat. Your arms are strong and straight in front of you. And just breathe here appreciate the work that you just did. Once again, I'm Amanda Balionis, a proud Stifel ambassador. Thank you for joining us on this yoga journey. I hope it's a great break during your work day, no matter where you are for work. And just remember to check in with yourself during these times that are very strange, very stressful, and it's okay to feel those things. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself so you can take care of everyone else in your life. Namaste.